Dating in America is brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source.
The Gold and Diamond Source has been in business for nearly 4 decades and is one of the largest family-owned jewelry stores in America.
We have the largest selection of white and fancy colored diamonds and gemstones you'll find anywhere.
We also have private areas for VIP viewings.
Only at the Gold and Diamond Source.
Everyone has a story to tell. It's my mission to tell it. Unscripted, unedited. We are on the record.
Hi, everyone. I'm Serena Fazan. Thanks so much for joining us. And I'm one happy girl today dating in America with 2 of my favorite dudes. Oh, my gosh. We're laughing so hard already. J.P. Peterson, the J.P. Peterson Show, Orlando Davis, Orlando and the Freak Show. Wow, yes. 94.1. Guys, it is such an accomplishment, I feel, on my part as a journalist to get you both dating in America.
Oh, this is the big break. Yes, this is. Yeah.
Yes, okay.
I'm take you international. This is global.
I'm way too nervous for this conversation.
You know, we used to work together at Beasley Radio.
Yep.
Yeah, I was doing the sports station. Orlando was doing the Freak Show, and he would grace our presence and always give great perspective because he's a big sports fan. He would come in and we would have the greatest conversation. So it's great to see you again and work with you again, brother.
Awesome to see you, of course.
Okay, so this is actually very touching. So I kind of reunited you guys.
You did.
You did?
You did.
Oh, wow.
I usually just see him when I go to the Bolts game.
I know. We love Sammy, my little one. You know, she's 14. Oh, my gosh. Always. There's J.P. Peterson. There's J.P. Peterson. Well, before we get started, I kind of introduced you guys. Tell us both. Tell everybody what you're doing.
I work for Wild 94.1. I do Orlando and the Freak Show. I'm the program director of the station, so it's kind of the player coach to keep it sports. I'm a participant, but I'm also one of the managing kind of bodies for the station. I have 2 daughters who are 14 and 12 and becoming 35-year-old women as fast as they can. It's just insane. So that's pretty much my little thing.
And JP?
Well, I'm kind of advanced from where he is in terms of getting kicked out of places. As you get older, that's what happens. You say stupid stuff and they kick you out. So I'm still, he's still in good graces. My mouth just gets me in trouble. So I'm out on my own now, doing my own thing. The J.P. Peterson Show. We stream it live every day, 10 to 12. So we're not through this constraints of FCC anymore. So I can drop F-bombs and S-bombs and say whatever the hell we want. And it allows us to be more freedom. So it's great. I love it. And I'm working for the Lightning as well. I do their pregame and intermission reports in-house on the Jumbotron and a lot of other freelance work. So allows me time to date. And I think that's why we're here.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And JP also has 2 kids. You have 2 kids. They're older.
I have 2 wonderful children, a 23-year-old Cullen who's in Chicago. We should get him on Dating in America.
Would love to.
Stud that he is, living in Wrigleyville, 6'4", hella hair, from Florida, owning Wrigleyville. So he's single and mingling in Chicago. And my daughter is at Belmont in Nashville, and she's a young singer-songwriter, incredibly talented, and the most wonderful girl in the world. So very, very blessed.
See, guys, but this is why. Okay, I'm such huge fans of both of these 2. Have you seen how they talk about their kids and their, oh my gosh, all right, and love and dating, and you both are single?
Yeah, because you have to be. Women are intimidating right now. It's just very intimidating. Women used to be docile and kind of like you had to open a door for them. You had to take care of them, coddle them. Now women know what they want. They know how to get it. They have no qualms about telling you what they want. Oh, yeah. And it's intimidating for me. Women are just bold now. It used to be women didn't make the cat calls. Now they make cat calls.
Oh, yeah.
So, hey, woohoo, like that can come from a woman now. It's different. It's much different. It's very scary out there.
Very aggressive. Okay. Very aggressive.
Really? Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. And we'll get into this. And by the way, I have a little bit of a little thing at the end that where I'll may shock you a little bit at the end.
Okay. We'll talk about a teaser.
But you know, in this dating world now, yes, women are extremely aggressive, especially on the dating apps, which you have not enjoyed the wonder of the dating apps. And I've just, you know, for pure entertainment alone. and I do think there is some usefulness in them because, you know, if you're trying to date and find the 1 in 7 billion, right? And you're going out to bars and restaurants and relying on friends or what have you to hook you up. I mean, think of how small that circle is.
Right.
Whereas if you get out into a more global, you can meet a lot of different people that are outside your sphere that you never would have met. And there's a lot of positives and a lot of negatives that come along with that. Absolutely.
Well, it's okay. I want you to hold that thought for just 1 second because, Orlando, are you not on the dating apps? Because, I mean, both of you are public figures. So is that part of it?
It's part of it because, I mean, well, I didn't really feel comfortable with it because it feels like online, kind of that catfish type of thing. I just don't trust it. But I know a lot of people who are on it, whether it's Tinder or Bumble or whatever, where crazypeoplemeet.com or whatever it is that they're on. But I'm just intimidated, and I think that my cachet is the live meeting. I need to meet somebody. I need to make them laugh because, you know, laughter can get you laid.
Oh, yeah. Did he just say that?
Can I not say that?
Yes, of course.
Am I allowed to say laid?
Of course he
Do the
can.
people, y'all get laid? Don't come on.
Well, you know the #1 thing that girls put on their apps?
Funny.
Love a sense of humor.
Love
a funny
that's
guy.
Right.
And that's
sense
true.
of humor is a swing.
Absolutely.
That can knock me down 30, 40, 50 pounds.
What are they saying, Rick?
He's a big boy, but boy, if you get him laughing, they're like, he ain't that big, girl. he ain't that big. I thought he was fat, but he funny.
And let me just say this about a difference between.
Okay.
He's a lot bigger personality than I am. People know a lot more people. He's much bigger than what he does. Nobody knows who I am.
No.
Orlando's huge, and I think it would
He's
be
so
a little
humble
different.
about
So
it.
I can sneak by on some of these
trust
dating
me.
apps. They don't know who the hell I am.
They know you too. Trust me.
Well, it's because I put George instead of. That fools them right away.
No, that's okay, but that is too funny. And so, so Mr. Dating App here. So, the first line is typically love. You want a funny guy. You want a humorous guy.
Right, which is a lie. They're looking for a hunky dude. Intelligence is sapiosexual. I want something meaningful. No, you want a 6'5" guy, shredded. With tons of money, and then we'll go from there.
They want Gronk.
They want Gronk.
They want
Thank
Gronk.
you. Thank you. They all want Gronk.
And then I show up. The hell? Like,
And he's funny too, which sucks.
Yeah.
That guy's got everything.
Yeah, he's got it all.
He needs to
perfect
back
package.
off. Yeah. Come on, man. Leave some for the rest of us.
I mean, so the social media game is like online dating, though, because it's become that. And that's kind of empowered women as well because they are very articulate about what they enjoy, whether it's the music now. I mean, even with, the Cardi B's and the Nicki Minaj's, they're rapping about stuff like Meg Thee Stallion is talking about WAP with, wet, whatever. That song alone, which I'm not gonna.
What are they
if
called?
Lane got me in trouble, I'm definitely not singing the lyrics to WAP.
Yeah.
But it really empowers ladies to be a little bit more open about what it is that they're interested in, and it's intimidating. It's been a paradigm shift where you have to now respect the woman. International Women's Day, yeah.
Right.
Trust me, Women's History Month. Like you guys right now, hear you roar.
Hear
Absolutely.
us roar. Here's a shout out to Katy Perry. I love that song too.
Do you get here? I am interviewing. Orlando.
Yes, no, I love it.
Do you get on social media women just coldly reaching out to
Yes.
you? And
That was my
There's a lot
next
of that,
question.
yes.
You do.
A
Okay.
lot. And there's sections like the people who you follow, you can get their DMs easy, but the people who you don't follow is in the requested side.
Right.
And I call that like the basement. I don't go over there. It's intimidating. You go over there and you don't know what you're gonna bump
There is
into.
nothing to see there, bro. There's nothing to see
I'll
there.
go over there maybe once, maybe every 2 months or so I'll catch something that I might not have seen.
Right.
And it'll be like, oh my God, I was listening to you this morning. You need a real woman. And it's like, whoa. And then, okay, now you got to try and follow them or try and see what they look like. And everybody knows their angles now. Women, you know your angles. You live on angles.
Well, a lot of
So
people do talk about
women
that,
get
right?
the top side.
Right, the
and
top side higher,
sorority head
please.
tilt and do my legs like this so it look like I got the look. I mean, it's just all of that. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors, and it's just intimidating. So I like to just meet a person, fall into some sort of comfort level, and then see where that goes. And
But
work that.
do you ever respond to some of those direct
I
messages?
respond to everybody just because of the social engagement. And honestly, if you're a listener of mine, I want to respond. But if it's I think you're so sexy, I swear I want to tackle you like football, I might not keep it there. I might say, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. Now, if the picture's hot, we might continue having that conversation. But if you're beastly, then I'm just going to really appreciate you listening and thank you so much. And I'm going to give you a shout out tomorrow. I'm going to make sure I shout you out on your birthday or something. I'm going to make them feel like I appreciate them because I really do. But I mean, I might just not want to get naked with you.
Yeah.
I feel an obligation to respond though all the time, and I shouldn't use that word.
To even the
obligation.
guys that write you to want to get naked. You write them back?
well, I have to say, I mean, people have said, like the team, and I love the team, or my daughter's friends, block that person or do something like that. But I feel sometimes as a public figure, I don't know. I mean, do you guys ever block anybody?
I love how you swing it back to us so you don't answer.
Of course.
I love it. You just pivoted back to.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to, because it's definitely. I would think with girls, it's more meaningful. You have to do that because you can tell a guy, "Hey, thanks for the message and the kind words. Appreciate it." They hear, "Oh, she wants to bang me. No question about it. 100%. Oh yeah." Guys are ridiculous in that. You smile at a guy, they're like, "Oh, she is so into me," and just eye contact, and we're like, "Oh, this is done. We're married. They're down the road.
No
6 kids."
way.
Oh, am I wrong?
It's very true.
Guys are like, you give them any attention. So I get these from time to time, and you have to be very cordial. But again, if they're super hot, then you go, well, let's explore this a little.
Right, yeah.
And doesn't that sound so absolutely superficial? But ladies, come on, you all do it too. We all do it. That's the first thing we're looking for. Are we looking for somebody that physically is pleasing to what our eye is, so to speak,
Right.
our type,
And that's
or
what
whatever.
the social media space does
Yeah.
create. It creates
Yeah.
a visual portal for you. So it's just like a job interview. I'm going to see you first. Sure, I want to find out if you have a great worldview.
Right,
If
exactly.
you can dot your I's and cross your T's and stuff. But at first, I want to see that walk. I want to see what you do. I want to see how it's packaged together first. I mean, and that's going to catch your eye like anybody.
Well, let me ask you guys this, because I hear this a lot too, that a lot of times the guys then will see the girls and they'll be like, whoa, she doesn't look like that.
Yeah, everybody has a good picture. And you have to start digging. You have to start digging. And you know what? You have to dig through the family pictures to see their mom, see their sisters. See, because there's this BBLs that you can get now, and you can get fat sucked from here and put there, so like if you got a whole family member of Shreks and Fionas kind of just out there, and then you got Kim Kardashian in the middle, like this is my family. You're like, no, sorry, pump your brakes, because at some point you're gonna look like the rest. And again, it's not that they're bad. It's just that you're putting out a false narrative. It's just like showing up at a job interview in a nice Brooks Brothers suit and then thinking, I'm going to hire this guy because look at him. He's put together. He's polished. He has a briefcase and a portfolio and stuff. And then you show up in Bermuda shorts the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And like, where did the guy in the suit go? That was the interview job. So that's kind of like in social media. People put their best foot forward in that great picture, but you kind of want to spend some time with them and chat and get back and forth. So I'm assuming the online dating is kind of the same way, where you want some normality there.
Well, let me jump in here.
Okay, yes.
Jump in there, JP.
Let me jump in here. Ladies, and guys too, ladies and guys, stop it. The filters, if you show up and you're 25 pounds heavier than your pictures, it's not going to go well for both guys and girls.
Yeah.
It's just not going to go well. You're selling something that's complete fraud. And I don't understand how you may have the greatest personality in the world, and this goes for guys too. But if it's not going to go well. I've gone into like first dates, and I can't even find the person I'm looking for because she ain't in that bar.
Yeah.
That girl on the picture, she ain't in this bar. She might be sitting right there where she said but she ain't in this bar.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So do you find that more often than not?
Yeah. Absolutely, 100%. And
because it's hard to compete, though. I mean, he said the filters and everything else.
Right.
People are
I get it.
creating
Yeah.
this false narrative because they're trying to compete with very hard to attain people. I mean, Kim Kardashian is kind of in the 1% of being pretty and put together. And the same thing about a lot of the other artists and stars that these people are emulating. And so how do you feel at home being a house mom or a divorcee or, you know, single mom, and now you have to try and put yourself into that space? That's where the filters come in and stuff. And so you kind of have to be Inspector Gadget to dig through it to find out what the real person is like before you try and put your heart out there.
So when Orlando was talking about, you look at the family pictures and you go dig deep. Do you do that too? Do you guys do that in general?
Well, first of all, I kind of have a process. I have a process. Okay.
Oh, what's your process?
So my process is, you know, obviously you're gonna first thing is the pictures. You're gonna go through the pictures, and if you know, okay, that looks like could be a match. Then you'll go through, read their profile. I try to read their profiles. I do one. I'm one of those guys. I think it's kind of fun, and some of the stuff that's said is just hilarious, and you can kind of filter through a lot of different things. And the good thing about online dating or these apps is you can filter through a ton of people. Like, you're not making a bunch of you shouldn't be making a lot of mistakes. And once you get through that, then if you're more serious, you reach out to them, the conversation seems kind of normal, then ask to see their social media. Because, like you said, in your social media, you can start drilling down and really see who they are, what they are, make sure they're, you know, they don't have, you know, things in the freezer they shouldn't have. And so you can kind of filter that out. And then I'll try to do like a FaceTime, because you can't filter to FaceTime for the most part.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
okay.
do a FaceTime, get to know somebody a little bit, and that, you know, this has evolved over the years that I've been doing these apps.
Yes. Okay.
So I think that once you do that, you have a pretty good feeling for what they look like, who they are. Do you want to go forward with this? A lot of times you do a FaceTime, and then you'll just think, this is not going to work. So, and then you have a pretty good idea. You can filter out a lot by just doing that.
I love this FaceTime thing.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. All right, so JP, what are your favorite dating apps? Or why don't you share with Orlando and I your favorite dating apps?
What has the best return?
Or you could break them down for us.
Well, I'll tell you, the first time I got on was Tinder. I was in Buckhead. This was back in 14 and 15. I was working for the Falcons up there, so got a beautiful apartment right next to the St. Regis, downtown Buckhead, single guy. I'm like, this is going to work out well. So I was in a bar one night, and this girl told me about Tinder. I'd never heard about Tinder. She's like, no, it's an app, and they have you get your profile on there. I'm like, because you're probably better in person at first. I can present better on an app. I'm like, sportscaster, I could put a couple of pictures up there. Then I'm like, okay. So I might get a little bit more run that way. And then when they meet me, of course, my funny personality, that breaks
of course, it's the number one thing. It's the number one thing. Remember, that's what you said.
They're like, oh my God, this guy's bananas. Forget it, loser. Doesn't look like his pictures. My God, what are you doing? And so that's the first time I got on Tinder. And by the end of the night, I'm like, there's 12 girls that you've like, they're 2 bars down. Let me go meet this person. Let me go. Like, this is the greatest thing ever. You're contacting all these people. And
now,
so
Tinder is supposed to be known as the hookup app, though.
Well,
is it?
Yeah,
I haven't been on Tinder.
Digital herpes. You mess around and get that sexual braille. You don't want it.
The gift that keeps on giving. Yes.
Because, like he said, he gets on there and it's 12 people. I'm close. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, wait, we shopping? I wasn't saying I'm ready now. I just wanted to. He just signed up for the app and 12 people were ready to bet him down. That's insane.
It's crazy. I mean, it's not like you're like everybody you match with, you're sleeping with. No, you're not doing that. But to me, that was okay, half. Like, it was eye-opening that it was like, wow, you could be at like 15 bars at one time, and that's basically what it's become. It's a worldwide, every day, and this is why dating in this social media world is next to impossible. Because when I was growing up, you met people at parties. You'd meet people at parties. There was, and whatever happened at that party, people might know about, but that was about it. Now, you are walking into a global party every day. Every dude's hitting on your girl. Every girl's hitting on your guy. Every day is just this absolute avalanche of attention. And if you're dating a hot girl, or you're dating a hot guy, if you're a woman, I mean, it's constant attention. And who doesn't out there have social media issues with social media issues when they're dating? I think it's almost in the relationship I've been in, it's probably the number one thing that comes up.
I know. You know, honestly, I think social media, it's awful because then you see your ex dating someone. You see,
Right.
It's so hurtful. Like, rather than not, it's better not to know.
Right.
I think.
I mean, I
personally.
don't block people like that. I want to see you doing well because I've been one of the lucky ones where people who I've had a relationship with, I'm still friends with them and I still cheer them on. I'm friends with a really good person I dated. I'm really good friends with her husband now. And just, you know, like the continuation of the relationship goes on. Just because our chapter closed doesn't mean I want to see the book fail. I still want you to win and everything else.
I'm the same way.
But, you know, I think that, you know, when we look at social media and we look at the fact that, you know, I see all of these people that you know that I have in common, that makes it weird. If I walk into a restaurant and I see a buddy and he's like, oh, and they know each other, I'm like, how do they know each other? Because of social media. Social media has made the world so much smaller now. Now you recognize a person that I think I've met you before. Oh yeah, I follow you. And that makes it weird, you know? So the dating aspect of it, because now you're wondering, did my friend tear this down? Like, did they do? Am I sloppy seconds? You know, because all that's going through your head.
Right.
And some places you don't want to travel behind folks. Like, so I need to know before we continue. At least before you order off that side of the menu. Like,
You need to know.
you better order off the side that slept with one of my friends' menu over here. French onion soup and all that. You can order, go in over there.
I try to stay, you know, we all say this. I'm not going to look at their stuff. I don't want to see their stuff. And you try to stay away from it, but you know you don't.
You can't help it. It's human nature.
It's human nature. But I think you're much more, it's better not to. Don't revisit it. Don't go back to it. Just kind of stay away and get to that friend zone like you talked about. And it's a much more productive place to be.
Celebrate each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Why
because,
not?
you know,
No reason to be enemies, that's for sure.
For sure. I mean, at the core, I think people are very good. It's just when matters of the heart sometimes can be difficult, especially at the very beginning. And then, but as time, you know, it is true that saying. I mean, time heals the wounds, you know. But back to the fun subject, because he's only gone through Tinder. What's your favorite dating app now?
Well, most recently I've been on Bumble and Hinge.
Okay, so do tell.
Now, Bumble is where the ladies can just select you, so the power goes to them.
The Bumble is they have to reach out to you, which I think is much better. That's from a personal standpoint.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because, you know, I think the others, you start chasing things that you probably have no business chasing. You know.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane, brother. We all think we can get it, but we can't. You know, I'm delusional in that way. Because you never know. Take your shot, right? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? Take your shot. So, you know, but I think Bumble, it's kind of more of a mutual admiration. You're both interested, much more productive. You can, you know, you're getting to the main part of it much quicker, and honestly, what I found is that the biggest problem with dating apps is the time you invest in them. You start looking at the time that you're putting in on a daily basis. It's such a drain.
It's a job.
It's an energy drain. It's an energy drain. It's an emotion drain, and it's a time drain. And you got to be really, really careful how you do it and how much time. Like, you got to plan it out. You need to be disciplined about it, and it's just hard because it's like being at a party every day. It's like, oh, she wants to talk to me. Oh, she wants to talk. Oh, and before you know it, 2 hours have gone by, and you got so much work to do that you haven't even done. So you have to be really careful. But I would say Bumble is probably the best one.
Is the best one.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. Allison Kropp, who used to be a news anchor on Channel 10, she was on Love in America. She's getting married, actually, and her first husband sadly passed away from cancer. But she found her next chapter. She was on Bumble, and she read an article from a blogger that said you have to treat it as a job and try to find that perfect person. And that's what she did. That's how she did it. Her love story is amazing, though, and so she really did find that person through Bumble. And what you said, it was just an easier process because they were fans of each other.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
On that serious note, I should go to on a lighter note. But on that serious note, we'll go to a break because I have some important questions for you guys that I would still like to ask.
Now we have to get ready for that.
Got through all of this.
Yes.
Kind of wrap us up. Like, all right, guys, you can leave. That's what I was ready for.
No, we still like half an hour. Okay, so stay with us, everybody. We'll be right back.
Thinking about getting engaged, planning to upgrade your wedding ring, or finally getting that Rolex?
The Gold and Diamond Source can help you in many ways.
You can start a layaway plan for only 10% down and 6 monthly payments.
Take advantage of our 3 to 5 year interest-free financing.
Or you can trade in your old broken jewelry and use it towards a new purchase.
Come to the Gold and Diamond Source and find that perfect gift for the ones that you love.
Emily is an affordable gold and diamond jewelry line. It really hits any price point between $150 to $1,000. Anyone can afford it, anyone can wear it. You can stack it just like these bracelets. But it is a really beautiful line, and it's just nice because it's just a good starter piece. You know, you don't want jewelry that's going to turn your skin green. You're going to want jewelry that can have value and last you a lifetime, and that's what Emily has to offer.
Later, and you're like, you ain't offering me no pizza.
Guys, we've been talking in a commercial break. I'm sorry, and then we come back because I'm here with Orlando Davis,
right.
Orlando the Freak Show, Wild 94.1, JP Peterson, the JP Peterson Show, and we are talking about dating in America.
Was that a sausage? Extra sausage?
So. Share the story. It's only fair. Share the story, what we were talking about in the commercial break with the dance moms.
We were talking about the fact that social media is treated kind of like a dating app, and you fall into the path of different people. And because my daughters compete in dance, then moms who compete in dance see those, and that becomes a pathway. And the dance moms at these conventions, I mean, you're always in Orlando, there's 3 days. Mm-hmm. The dance moms are always trying to get it. Like, they want to let you know, like, they're like, oh, I listened to you on the Freak Show and that topic you were talking about. So we're getting the kids later for pizza. And I'm like, you don't want no pizza. I know what you want. I know. I can tell. I can feel it. And it's not, and again, it's not because I'm Jean-Claude any kind of damn or anything. I'm not up here with abs. It's just because of the humor. The fact that you can discuss something at a real pace and they can get to know who you are. So, but they also just want to jump your bones. Women are just bold now. You got girlfriends.
You gotta watch like that too. That's that.
I mean, it's
really
part of the hip hop thing. It's just like, so you have women friends who all get together, and you get your snazzy little dress and heels on, and you go out and have conversations, and we're right. These ladies say things that probably make you clutch your pearls.
Well, let me ask you though, guys, you're so do you feel though in the limelight, what is it like dating in the limelight? I know you guys are both very humble and very modest, but let's try to put that aside. Do you feel that women aren't as genuine, maybe?
They're genuinely hunting for specifics.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, I mean, he's around athletes and stuff, so he could put up a picture with him and Roger Goodell and kill for a year because they know what cachet that brings. I'm in a hip hop world where they're listening to everybody rapping about, I want to get the bag and I want to get this bag and oh my God, what's a Birkin bag and blah, blah, blah. So they expect that from me. They're like, okay, this guy, if I have a girl that I'm spending time with and then they write me, hey, so I need a favor. Right there, I'm like, oh my God, this girl ain't gonna make it. She's gonna get voted off the island because I know she's getting ready to ask me for some tickets or she's getting ready to ask me to help with something. And it's just because they presume that I'm available to do that because of the world that I live in. And I'm not. And I try and get off that ship as fast as I can because if that comfort starts now, then it's really gonna go into an insane place later.
I've actually dated girls and I know their number one objective is to meet an athlete through me. Like they want to date a Bucks player or they want to date a Lightning player or whatever, and they're going to use me as a conduit to get to them.
Yeah. And pay a toll. Because like I said, women are very bold now. They're like, I don't mind giving JP some legs so I can get to Tom Brady. Yeah. Like, I don't mind doing, I mean, women would throw Scooby snacks at you.
Far be it for me to say no.
Right.
I mean, you want to mentor some of these young ladies along the way.
You through.
Of course. I'm a giver. Come on. Always.
Is that such a turnoff, though, to you guys?
Of course. Of course it is. A little bit. But as I say, you can get through it sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you can muddle your way through it. Sometimes, yeah.
So a lot of my other male friends, though, also say, oftentimes they'll start dating a girl, and within like 3 dates, they're like, okay, when are we getting married? When are we going to have kids?
Oh my God.
Okay, really? Okay, so
Absolutely.
Expand, please.
I think especially with a certain age group, absolutely. There's an expectation if you've gone out on 2 dates that you are exclusive at this point, and we are getting married. There's a date to be had. Like the planning is already underway, and it's frankly terrifying. It's
Really?
just it's just like no, it's not. We're not quite there yet. So yeah, I think there's that's been my experience. And again, I'm telling you, I can hear some ladies out there going, oh, there's generalizing age groups and all these others. No, it's just that this is my experience that I've had, and
there's a space of when you're talking, because we talked about this on the air a couple weeks ago. If you Google talking in a relationship now, it'll come up like a timestamp that it just was created a week ago or something. They're like, Gen Zers are now calling it talking. And I'm like, Gen Zers, hello, we've been calling it talking forever. When you're not dating, but you're casually spending time together, you're getting to know each other. Maybe there's been some romanticism or something, but you're not committed and you haven't had the talk. But we're just spending time getting to know each other. That's always been the equivalent of talking. But now it seems to be that there's a lot more intimacy, but not the commitment part. And that's what I mean about that kind of dating world now, where it's like, I'm not locked into you, but I want to test drive what I can test drive so I know what I'm getting. And they might be test driving 2 or 3 cars that weekend. Because it's just, that's the way it is now. So you have to be careful. Enjoy what you enjoy, but you just have to really, really be careful.
100%. 100%.
Some stuff don't clear up with a shot. I'm just saying.
And you're saying women are more bold than ever.
There was a time when a woman was not going to be as vocal or as just forthwith with what they want and what they expect and what they're interested in. And I don't think any woman is shy that I've met about telling me what they're into. And it could be something that's very taboo that you guys would only talk about in the secrets of your own conversations. Right. Now it's open run.
And I, for one, like that. I like women to be aggressive and expressive. Tell us what you want. The opposite to me is frustrating. Not telling me what you want, not saying, like being secretive, being like, oh, I don't want to say this or I don't want to say that. I'm like, no, tell me what you're looking for. Tell me what you want, not just sexually, but everything in your life. This is what I want to be interested in. I want to be able to that, because not to get too esoteric about this, but that's when you're sharing your quality world with another person. That's when the real intimacy begins. When you're really telling your vulnerabilities. You're exposing your heart. When you're doing those things, that's where real interaction and real bonding comes. And so I'm very hesitant when women don't tell me and they're secretive and they don't want to say this or tell you about their day or whatever. It's just that, to me, no. I want to know if you're picking up the kids, you think that's not a big deal, or you've just gone out to have ice cream today or gone to gym, whatever it is. I want to know. I want to know what is your world like? What is it like? It's
that communication factor is a very important part, and it's an important part for me too. I don't know if it's my sign or whatever, because everybody's like, oh, because Geminis are communicative and they like to, and I don't get into all that. I just know that I speak for a living and I enjoy conversation. Now, that doesn't mean unfurl everything in your mind that you want to do, because the dirty stuff is what I'm speaking to because of hip hop. Hip hop has just made it very open, whether it's Meg Thee Stallion, City Girls, all of the big records are women asserting this bravado that men only really enjoyed in hip hop before. Now it's the year of the woman, and this year has been going on for years. So they've been just sharing everything that they want to share. So I get that part. But tell me some more about just your conversation. Like he was saying, what did you do today? What can you tell me that can really have me really intrigued by what is in your head? And I think that those conversations are worth their weight in gold.
If I can interject,
yes, absolutely.
WAP might be going a little too far.
That's a little too far.
That's a little too aggressive for me.
I don't want
my girl
on
the Grammys showing all that, right, with the Python.
Yeah,
right. I'm like, that's a lot.
It was risque when Britney Spears was on the Grammys with a snake dancing around. It's like, I'm a slave for you, and everybody was like, oh my God, Britney, go to church. What are you doing? Now,
hit me one more time.
They're out there doing the Cardi Meg Thee Stallion video with like full crotch shots on the Grammys. Like, they're having to cut edits because they're seeing too much, and they're writhing around. I mean, when Madonna rolled around on the ground, and that was a very risque thing. But now they've taken it to where sponsors are like afraid now. So again, it's not a bad thing, but it's really a lot. And so if any advice for the dating world, it's just when you get to that space where you can actually have a conversation. Like there's one girl that I know who, and I have to say that because I'm not dating anyone, but I know people. We're talking or whatever.
You're talking.
And she has a point of asking me, so what are you guys doing for your show tomorrow? I'm like, oh, well, we're, doing this or that. And she's like, oh, that'll be interesting, blah, blah, blah. And then she'll tell me something about her day. And I'm like, I value those kinds of exchanges because there are people out there who could tell you ad nauseum about what they want or sexually or something like that, but can't have just a standard conversation that's more about real, kind of unlayering their layers. Like, show me what you're made of. And those are the ones that you really find like a diamond in the rough.
Gosh, see, this is very refreshing to hear all of this, actually. So let me ask you guys this. For women, clearly we have a biological clock.
You do?
Yeah, we do. But guys,
I've heard of this.
Yes, guys often, don't. So would you be willing, to have children with someone, especially if they have not had kids? Stepping a boat.
I don't have to have children, but if I meet the right person who I think we've had a connection and they want, to have a child and I'm feeling that space, I would love to have another kid, but I'm not searching for it. That wouldn't be on my ad on a social media thing, like, be ready to procreate. I don't think that'll be the headline for me. I just, that's just me.
But
Let's discuss.
You ready to make some more babies?
Yeah, for the right person, you're saying, though,
I mean, why not, though? If you meet somebody who, the best compliment I think I can give a woman is, I am so into you that I want to see what you would create. I would like to join you to make something together because there will be a piece of both of us. See? Right there.
That is
everybody
so, okay,
in TV world is
that is so romantic.
He ain't even that big, girl. Look at that. That romance right there just gave me an ab. I got one ab.
I want to have your children right now.
That
Come
is
on.
so romantic.
I wish I'd have said that.
Okay,
I could hear her gasping over. She's like,
romance.
did you hear what he said?
Yeah.
It is. It's so romantic.
I knew this would happen. I'm gonna be the bad guy.
You don't want no more babies. Is that what you're going to say?
I took care of that. I took care of that. Yeah, I took care of that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that takes it off the table.
Nice.
Although there is this reversal thing that,
Yeah, there is.
Don't nobody want to do that.
Ain't nobody.
Nobody wants to.
The first time was bad enough. We ain't going down there again with any knives.
I did investigate that, though, and I heard you. It's a pretty cumbersome process to make sure everything is
It was the easiest thing. I did it live on the air.
You did it?
I did indeed.
Did you really? Oh my gosh, we need to find that.
Oh yeah, that was one of the highlights of my. I
Was
actually
it frozen peas or something?
Oh,
afterwards?
Oh yeah. And I thought, the doctor that did it had a great sense of humor. He thought it'd be really funny to bring in the hottest nurse that he could find to do all the prep work. And I was like, oh, that's fun. That's cute. And she had a naughty nurse thing working. I'm like, you, that is just so cruel. The last thing you want to do when you're going in for that is like see some hot chick there.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Well,
now,
okay.
The funniest thing, though, he's talking about naughty nurse. I just had a conversation because nurses write me a lot because I talk about on the air that I'm enamored with scrubs. I've always been a fan of scrubs, not just the naughty nurse with the nylons or whatever, but I mean just the scrubs. Because when I was in college, the girls that I dated wore them every day, and so it showed the figure great. Plus,
now they got tight scrubs.
They got tight scrubs now.
Wow, they do?
But
push-up
the biggest
scrubs,
thing is that in the back of my mind, I think you got a job.
Oh.
I swear to God, I really think
a good paying job.
You have a good paying job. You have some sort of locked in career that you've committed to. So you look great, and I love the accessibility with the scrubs was good if you're dating somebody. Like there was a lot
and
of
the
benefits.
white coat. Oh, they got a white coat.
Oh my God!
Stethoscope.
They throw the white lab coat on with nothing. Oh my God!
Now we talking.
Hello, Mr. Roy.
See that paycheck too.
Well, I was going to say, so is the career, is a woman having a career important too?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. I mean, it's something that, and again, you don't have to make $1 million. you can make $10. But if you're passionate about it, if you're killing it at whatever it is you're doing, that's great. Like, I don't need you to pay bills. I mean, ends are meeting. But have something. Because if you don't have anything, I've been there. I married somebody who didn't really want to do work. They just wanted to, you know, be there to hold the family down and to do whatever. You run out of stuff. They get bored, you know, and you have to have something that you got to go do. You know,
Passionate about.
Something you're passionate about.
What is it they say? Idle hands, the devil's playground?
Yeah. What else do you guys find attractive?
I
know everybody has.
I was going to go all Clay Travis and just go boobs, boobs. Guys, be honest, boobs.
Boobs are good.
Boobs are good.
Yeah, that's.
Well, they say you're either a boob guy or an
ass guy.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to say any of this stuff?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
We're not regulated by the FCC, so you're allowed.
I know I sound so shallow, but I'm keeping it real.
I mean, boobs are nice, butts nice. I think anything in excess is too much.
Right.
You know, I mean, I'm not trying to do a rap video, you know, because that just makes it difficult. You know, like I'm into people who are nurturing. I mean, like the love languages, the Gary Chapman book, What's Your Love Language? When I went to therapy, as we all have probably gone to with somebody that we were divorcing or marrying, it was explained to me that, you know, your love language, a person can love you, but not love you in the same language that you are used to. So when you're sitting watching the game and your girl is like, oh, baby, you enjoying the game? Her love language might be to touch you. And you might be like, why is she touching me during the game? It's because you have to enjoy her love language. Right. And so I think that, you know, that the nurturing part of it I love, because I've dated a few Latino women. And it's always, did you eat?
Yeah, I love that part.
Can I make you something? I mean, obviously I love food. But did you eat? That's something you don't hear from a lot of ladies.
Yeah.
But the Colombian woman, the Cuban woman, and the Puerto Rican woman I dated, oh my God, I ate well every time I walked in the door. Like,
absolutely.
And I'm not talking about easy, like it was on the stove. I'm like, oh, I will go in there and get it and warm it up for you. And it's just that nurturing part that they grew up with, that became something that their abuela or whoever taught them that was a part of what you want to do. Now, if I could cook, I would totally do it for other people. But, you know, I make a good reservation, so I make sure you're fed that way.
See, I'll cook it up now.
See.
Oh, some Italian food from scratch.
Put that on your
Roxana D'Amelio, my mama. Oh, yeah. Oh, you don't think that's on there?
Yeah,
come on now.
Yeah, you tell a woman I'll cook you dinner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very
a little
romantic.
bit of wine and Italian food
Pennies
from scratch.
get gravity.
Now, I know I sound like a Neanderthal just saying boobs, and that's trying to be a little bit funny, but what Orlando said is right on. I mean, girls, if you want to really attract a man, show that nurturing part. How do you treat your children? You know, how do you treat your man? Do you love language of doing things for them is something that I like to do. I think service love language is so much more, and time spent is so much more than material things. It says a guy doesn't make as much as Orlando, but really, and I think when and this is kind of
people say, by the way.
And so when and I told you I had a little bit of a surprise at the end. Well, through all these dating apps, I met a girl that I'm currently dating, the lovely Ashley.
Yes, and, who I have met, by the way, I have met, and she is very lovely.
She is amazing in so many ways, She's gorgeous, but she's super smart. But she is so nurturing. The things that she does for me, just out of the blue, little notes. Come back to my apartment and she's, everything is clean. She put my laundry away, done all these. I know it sounds trivial, but I've never had anybody do that for me. Like never. My mom didn't even do that for me. And so for me, and it's those things, taking the time to do a little extra, or she takes a lot of time to drive here or drive there, to drop off the kids so we could spend time together. That's so meaningful to me. And to me, it's an outward thing. You can say things, you can buy people things, you can do little things here, but when you're really investing time, money, and effort, and all of it together, and it's sincere, that's the hottest thing on the planet to me. The hottest thing on the planet.
And a lot of times they say, gosh, it takes a guy forever to commit. But you guys would commit to the right person. And don't you think guys fall harder than girls? So, like, once they do fall, they fall really hard.
I think a guy makes a conscious decision to fall. I think women fall because of emotion, and they kick in like, you know what, I just feel better than I've ever felt before, and they move forward. I believe strongly that guys commit because they've realized this might be as good as it's going to get. And that sounds bad, but it really comes from a good place. But then the other side is I get to eliminate all these other suitors if I just commit here, because now let's just do this and get rid of everybody else. You get rid of the guys who are in your DM, because I'm sure there are more of them there because men are checking you out. So let me just say I love you. That's why guys say they love you first. They eliminate the herd. They thin out the herd because, you know, and they probably do love you. But I'm saying there is a part. There was a study that we were looking at that a psychologist was referring to the fact that men say I love you more faster or quicker than the ladies do because they thin out the herd. They realize they're in a competitive state with these other guys who are writing you. As soon as his date's over, some other guy's trying to get to take you out on the next night. Right. So how do I eliminate him? By letting myself feel those feelings. See,
that was so interesting though when you said that, because I always thought it was the woman that said I love you first, for the most part.
No,
I mean,
really? It's a guy, huh?
In my experience, it's always been me. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's like, wow.
Yeah. Now that I think about it.
Yeah. I mean, and you and it's not that they are being malicious. It's subconscious that it's just in our nature of the whole gathering, the whole like, I want this woman. I better tell her that thing that I have to tell her. I love you. And then she's like, oh, okay, and she blocks out everybody else out of her stuff.
It is true. I mean, that is true from a female perspective for sure. Yeah. Do you guys stay in toxic relationships because of the sexual chemistry?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think both genders do. Do they not? Of course. Sex is important. I think it's different for myself. It's very important. You know, I have to have that compatibility, and I also think that it to me, and this is going to go kind of really deep. To me, when you're sexually bonded and your chemistry is fantastic, and you have everything else going on, and in a relationship when it's right, there's no better feeling. I mean, that to me is the emotional, spiritual, physical culmination of the whole thing when it comes together, and you kind of literally, figuratively become one. I mean, that's just, to me, that's it. And then that, to me, that drives the relationship. That doesn't mean it's just sex. Everything came together in that moment, and that just drives the relationship and moves it forward. Like, this is the right thing. This is the right one. Everything came together in that moment. And I think outside of that, it's outside of that moment. Obviously, you can't bring everything else together. It has to be sexual as well. Is that too dirty? Was that dirty?
No, that was Hallmark. You did that great.
Yeah,
I mean, you killed that. I mean, but that's what it makes what I'm saying not as powerful. But I have to be honest. You did. Because you said toxic, and men will stay in a toxic relationship because, as the old adage goes, a crazy woman is great in bed. And so, and it's very true. Like, men have had a great partner who might be a little cuckoo, and you're realizing, okay, I can stomach this a little longer because this activity is so great. And then you it's a balancing act after that. You're like, well, has it gotten too crazy? Why are the police at my house again? Oh my God, she just called my ex and she just cussed her out, or oh, she slid her tires or something. And then you make a decision like, all right, listen, the sex is great, but I need to get off of this train because now we're gonna make the papers. My whole rule is to never make the papers. And if you're messing with a crazy woman, you're gonna make the papers or the news at some point. So you kind of have to bow out at a certain point. But you try and ride that like the rodeo. You try and ride that wild horse as long as you can, because there's some great entertainment there, but at some point you got to tap out.
Well, that's the hot crazy matrix, right? The hot crazy matrix, right? Stripper, the hotness and the crazy.
You have to Google that, because I mean, it's crazy.
You know what we're talking about?
There's a matrix.
I actually did. I'm trying to act all cool and pretend like I know what I'm talking about.
It's genius because it's really true. I mean, you've seen it. It's
like it's got the hotness on this side and then the craziness on this side, and you will put up with as much crazy as the hot will allow you to put up with.
Right.
And and there are certain like this is stripper territory. This is right in the middle is the honey hole. That's the Marion type right in there. And so it's all on a hot crazy matrix.
Yeah.
So because all women are crazy, and there's degrees of hot. All men are jerks. We know that. So it's all a balancing act. You got to find that sweet spot wherever it is.
Well, okay. So let me ask you guys this as we start to close out the show. First question: Do you guys see yourself married again? JP, we could start with you.
Ashley is listening.
Legally married? No. The legal system, you know, we could do a whole show on that. The divorce industry is horrible for the children, for the two parents. It's all about the lawyers. The only thing this divorce industry is about is lawyers making money. They have no regard for the children, no regard for the family finances, none of it. It's the worst legal contract you could ever enter into, and it's not male or female. Whoever the breadwinner is going to get screwed. We incentivize cheating and leaving to make money in this system. It's horrible. But that being said, would I want to be married in a church, not on a legal paper, and be committed? Absolutely, 100%. I mean, I've been single a long time, and you know, you can have some fun, but eventually you crave that person who's going to, you know, nurture you, that nurturing feeling, who's going to be in your corner, who's going to support you. And that's one of the things Ashley does for me. She supports me. She's that cheerleader for me. Every day I get up, there's an inspirational message. I mean, I've never had anybody do that for me. Yeah. It's wonderful when you have somebody who's in your corner like that. You don't care about anybody else. Everybody else goes away, and you get that feeling and trust going. To me. Yeah, I would definitely do that. Absolutely. And I met her on a dating app. Yeah. Bad as it is, I met her on a dating app, right?
There's some unicorns out there.
That's right.
You got him a unicorn.
Yeah.
You got out of the game.
That's right.
I honestly don't see myself getting married in that traditional sense as well, because I did go through a divorce and I did go through everything that he just pretty much laid out. I will say that Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell are my ideal image now. Two people who love each other so much that they've committed to each other. Their children reflect the fact that they have a union that's real.
In Hollywood, too.
And in Hollywood, where everything is pretty fake, that is the realest relationship. Well, that and Rita and Tom Hanks. I mean, those were the two. It was like, because even when you found out Jada and Will were like doing what they're doing, you're like, wow, even they're in a messed up relationship. So, you know, you just look at those kind of committed relationships and just realize that someone being your person and you being their person, that not just to fold things, but just somebody who I know that I'm there for them and they're there for me. Like one woman told me one time, I prayed for you last night. And I was like,
that's a big deal.
I was blown away, because I'm like, I wanted to ask her why, but I didn't want to act like I didn't know God. I'm like, all right, you know, like, yeah, amen,
so
sister. But I'm like, well, I told my friends, I was like, she said she prayed for me. And they looked at me like, dude, you might end up marrying that woman. Because guys don't hear things like that. There are women out there who have learned the ways of the woman from very good grandmothers or aunts or different maternal figures in their lives, and those women have it in a bag of tools that they can just knock you off your feet with just one word or one phrase or one gesture or something like that. Those are the women where you're like, I don't have to marry you, but I will commit my life to you.
Last question. That I know.
have to comment on this.
Oh my gosh.
Real quick.
Okay.
I've had a lot of women say that to me. I'm going to pray for you.
It was a much different conversation. Well, I'm going to pray for you.
I'm going to pray for you.
Jesus is what you need. Yeah, that's a much different conversation.
So they didn't mean like real. They meant something else? Okay. I got you. All right.
So, guys, my last question. Do you believe in true love?
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. Although I'll say I gave up hope for a while. I did.
But now.
I did. I gave up hope, and that was a real bad boy time. So when you just like, you're so tired of getting hurt and, you know, cheated on and all the stupid stuff that goes on, you just like, you give up. You're like, all right, screw it. You know, we'll just go have some fun. But eventually, you know, enough's enough. It wears off, and you crave that one-on-one true love.
True love.
There's a vulnerability to that whole thing about falling in love, because like you mentioned, the cheating thing or whatever, if there's a bigger, better deal, BBD, that's what they call it. Yeah. Everybody's happy until the next guy walks by. Like we talked about, Gronk is like the quintessential, the abbed up fun guy. I'm great for a girl until Gronk walks by.
Right.
You know, until I introduce her to Diddy or something like that. And it's like, oh, that's Diddy. And next thing you know, I mean, there's a passion level there. There's a meeting of the minds there. There's great, but true love exists. But it's hard because there's so many options out there now. Ladies have so many people tugging. It's like the Indeed. If you have a resume up there and 10 companies want you, you feel like you're in the catbird seat. It's the same way because men are that's why Bumble is such a great thing, because men are glomming on to anything that catches their eye. We like shiny, fancy, gleamy things. And so we're going after every woman that we can. And so think about that woman you're interested in. Just 100 guys trying to talk to her. There are a lot of different options out there. So what is it that I'm going to do that's going to eliminate everything out there? Am I going to make myself vulnerable and fall in love with you, knowing that the whole the NFC is trying to get into your your DMs? I mean, that's a little crazy.
Well, you know, that was supposed to be my last question, but you guys opened up a door for me that I want to walk into. Do you think it's harder? Do you think it's harder for a man to get over a woman cheating on them?
Yes.
I mean, I do. I personally do. This is, you know, I talk to my girlfriends about this all the time because here's how I feel. I feel like sometimes, I mean, no offense, guys, but, you know, you guys could walk into a bar, may not even remember the girl's name, and, you know, have sex. Can you believe I said that? Because I'm a little bit more shy when it comes to that kind of stuff.
You've been on the news. You're not supposed to be talking like this.
But I feel like for the most part, there's always exceptions to every rule, right? But when a woman usually cheats, it's emotional. You know, there's some type of emotional thing. So is that why? Is it harder, do you think, for a guy to get over a woman?
I think it is because, and it's sad, but we're expected to be that way, and that's really an old hat kind of way. I mean, nothing into 2022 is able to be what it used to be. We always refer to, well, it's not like that anymore. So I think that's one of the things that hold over. Women expect men to be about, you know, a wandering eye, or even biologically, it's always been explained that what we have touches our genes or touches the materials and stuff, so we're reminded of sex at a higher rate than women who have everything nicely packed away and away from things where they're not. We can't go to the bathroom without thinking of sex because we come in contact with what is involved in that. So in our minds, we might not even be thinking about sex, but there's a certain Pavlovian thing that reminds us of it. A woman can walk up and down the hallway, wear the heels, getting in and out of her car. She's not thinking about it because she's not coming in contact with any of those things. So it's more, it's not accepted, but it's more expected for us to be the cheaters. And so, and I think it's harder for us to get over it when a woman does it, because if you've pushed her that far, like they say, when a good girl goes bad, she's gone forever. And she cheats on you, she's gone.
Well, unfortunately, I've had it happen way too many times in my marriage career. It's just, you know, it's happened way too many times, and you know, I, to be honest, probably reciprocated. Probably, yeah, it happens from time to time in relationships. It's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to get over, and I do think men take it much more seriously, because it tends to be with women, it's years long. With men, it may be a night. Not that there's any one's right or wrong, but one seems more wrong than the other. One, it seems to be a long-term deception, whereas one just seems to be more of a physical thing. And I know this is just a completely male, you know, toxic male way of looking at that, and it's not true, but it just seems that way to a lot of people.
You know,
and I think it's harder,
Yeah, no, but I agree, because then if it lasts longer, then you care about that person, right? You're buying them presents, you remember their birthday, you remember things about them. So of course, I could see where that would be more hurtful.
There was a woman who I knew who got cheated on, and she actually was able to give us the kind of interworkings of it. She found out the act, was deathly crushed about the act. But then she started, because he fessed up after she busted him, and she wanted to see the exchange between them. She was more upset at the things they were saying to each other. She's like, so you were in love? And he's like, no, this was just, but the words meant something to her. The act crushed her, but what killed her was what she read back and forth, just the closeness of it. And so women see that differently. I think that guys do have a chance to fall into something and it's wrong, but having that relationship, I kind of understand that part of the words meaning more, and I think that's where ladies come in.
Wow, well, let me tell you guys.
Such a downer to end the show.
I know, I was going to say,
what up?
no, I was looking.
You should have cut it right at the answer before.
No, seriously, because what about when you guys believed in true love? So, okay, yeah, we have less than a minute. Yeah, we have about a minute.
Let's go back to that.
Lift up the show that you both do believe in true love.
True love. True love without true paperwork.
100%.
True paperwork, I love it.
No, and I'm at this point right now where I feel true love, and I'm excited about it, and I want it to move forward and see where it goes, and hopefully I've learned enough in my journey now that I've got all my stupid mistakes out of the way and my dumbass mistakes, and I can be better.
Okay, that was a great surprise at the end of the show.
That's
true love.
Yeah.
J.P. Peterson has found true love. That's a great way to end.
Tune in next week.
Hey, now keep in mind, I am actually an officiant. I'm going to be an officiant to, marry people. Because,
wow.
Yeah, and maybe we could stream the wedding on the network. Oh, but you're not getting married in a traditional wedding. I'm getting ahead of myself.
See?
This is a good time to wrap up the show.
See there, you just messed it up.
This is a good time to
Trying
wrap
to get him in the tux and all that. No.
Good time to wrap up. Hey guys, so if you have someone that you want interviewed on the show, a couple, please reach out to me. I mean, any type of story, actually. We have several segments here, but love stories, I love those love stories. So reach out to us. Also, you can share this on multiple platforms. And exciting news, we're on Roku, of course, with some other big announcements coming soon. My guest, Orlando Davis, Orlando and the Freak Show 94.1, so tune into that. J.P. Peterson, we can find you lots of places.
Yeah, you can just Google me, J.P. Peterson. We're on Instagram, YouTube, all that great stuff. So Facebook, Twitter, all over the place.
Well, guys, honestly, I couldn't sleep last night because I was so excited to have you guys here. So thank you so much for sharing your insight.
It's been fun.
I really
fun.
This is great, and you got a great setup and team here. So I'm proud of everything you're doing with the network.
Thanks so much, guys. I know I love the team at CP and Red House. So thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe.
The first-time diamond buyers should feel comfortable coming here because our selection at the Gold and Diamond Source is as large as you can imagine. So they don't have to worry about going to a store and feeling pressured about buying something. We educate them and they can make the right choice based on what's important to them.